I just wanted to call in and kind of ask about my parents are super pro-Israel. I am not, and I've just kind of been struggling to kind of get through to them. Some background is like they escaped like the USSR, and they're very like indoctrinated.
Oh boy,
with the whole, like,
forget
American
about
dream.
it. Forget about
Yeah.
it. Forget about it. Russian emigres, forget about it, my man. It's amazing that you, even as a second generation, that's really the thing that surprises me about this phone call, frankly.
I mean, I definitely fell into it. Like, I used to watch like Gavin McInnes and like all that crap. So, but yeah, I mean, I got out of it. But it's just really hard. And I know this is like a played out question, but like, how do you get through to a person who can like discount media that disagrees with them, like finds like good talking points, quote unquote, to dismiss war crimes, and like married to the idea that letting Gazans into Israel will be like the end of Jews, and like, you know, just like they struggle humanizing Gazans, and yeah, just I just don't know, and they're not like crazy like, I mean, it's crazy to support Israel, but they're kind of like the epitome of like a centrist. Like, they're pro-abortion and gay marriage, but anti-free college and healthcare. So it's like, that's what the only reason why I feel like there's some wiggle room there. Like, I was able to convince them about the whole thing of like, oh, it's, you know, it can't be a genocide if like the population of Gazans like increases. But yeah, I got through to them with that. So that's the only reason I feel like there's some leeway here, but it's been a struggle.
Well, I mean, the tact I would take, I don't know. It depends on what you want to convince them of, right? Because the tact I would take for a long time with people like that was your unfettered support for Israel is the greatest threat to Israel's existence, right? I would just say, sort of take like, that's what they care about. Israel's existence, regardless. Whatever it takes, that's what their attitude is. And so I would say to people like that over the past, you know, I don't know, 10, 15 years, like your unfettered support for Israel is going to doom the country, because they're going to do something, frankly, like this, and they're going to become pariahs, and it is going to be untenable for, at the very least, like a Democratic candidate to support them. Now, Joe Biden is, I guarantee you, I don't know if Joe Biden will win re-election, and I think if he doesn't, this is going to play a big part in it. It's going to be close regardless. But Joe Biden's the last Democratic president who's going to support Israel this way. That 100% guaranteed. It's just the politics within the Democratic Party are just changing. And so Israel is going to become increasingly isolated. That's one tact, to sort of like take their premise that, you know, Israel has an existential threat and that this is just basically politics. But then I would also like turn to like people like Ehud Olmert and this guy, Amy Ayalon, who is a former Shin Bet head, and just use them, because they have a better sense of this stuff than your parents do. And, you know, these are people who were there like with Ben Gurion, you know, and so, and, you know, you just sort of like drop it in and let it sort of fester. That's the only way. You can't like sort of like head on with them, because they'll just, the hair on their back will stand up, and they just will get into a very defensive posture. This is a long-term project for you. And frankly, in all honesty, there's a story about 15% of the settlers in the West Bank are American, and they have oversized influence amongst, and they are the most rabid of the settlers. But I would say coming in at a close second would be Russian emigres. And if you look at guys like Avigdor Lieberman, and, you know, who was the first sort of like wave of right-wing fasci Israeli officials that were sort of like open about it, I'm quite convinced that, you know, people who escaped the Soviet Union to emigrate to Israel became some of the most ardent and, you know, look, they've grown up in a society where people are trained to be authoritarian. Not necessarily authoritarian leaders, but authoritarian followers. And I think there's like, it's just, I think that is, in my mind, one of the most underreported stories about that. But I have not, you are the most progressive child of a Russian immigrant. Never mind, I mean, a Russian immigrant, forget it. But a Russian immigrant that I have met on this topic. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have my suspicions, but good luck. Long-term project.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, hang in there.
All right.
Thanks for the call.
All right. Thanks. Left is best.
As soon as you said parents of Russian immigrant, it's, I don't know what to tell you. People who I know come from that background, progressive on everything. I mean, which is not to say, like, I also know, American Jews who've been in this country forever and they have the same attitude. But Russian immigrants, no wavering.